The battle for Salem Sarah versus EJ's ruthless ambition. Days of Our Lives says that Salem General Hospital is about to become a battleground for two of Salem's most determined and cunning men, EJ DiMera and Xander Kyriakis. But why? But this isn't just about power or prestige for Xander. For him, it's personal. Xander isn't eyeing the hospital for himself. He wants to buy it for Sarah, his wife, Dr. Sarah Horton Kyriakis, a dedicated physician with a sharp mind and a compassionate heart. In Xander's eyes, Sarah deserves more than to just work within the walls of Salem General. She deserves to lead it. He dreams of her taking the helm as hospital director, guiding the institution with integrity and medical excellence. For Xander, buying the hospital is the ultimate gift, a tribute to Sarah's strength, skill, and the sacrifices she has made. Yet, Xander's noble intentions are about to clash with the cold, calculated ambition of EJ DiMera. EJ, always the strategist, sees the hospital not as a sanctuary for healing but as a stepping stone to expanding his influence. With Kayla Johnson already having rejected his plans to take over the hospital, EJ has turned his attention toward another influential figure, Marlena Evans. Marlena, with her esteemed career and sway with the board of directors, could be the key to unlocking EJ's control of the institution. But Marlena is no fool. Like Kayla, she has seen EJ's manipulative nature firsthand. She knows he never plays fair, and she's likely to question why he's so desperate to insert himself into the operations of Salem General. Her loyalty lies with the community and the integrity of the hospital, and EJ's motives are anything but pure. Still, EJ is not one to back down. He's confident that, sooner or later, Kayla will come crawling back. He's made no secret of his belief that her refusal is temporary, that when she sees the pressure mounting, she'll have no choice but to support him. In the meantime, EJ plans to reconnect with Dr. Jeffrey Russell, an ally with insider knowledge and influence who could help solidify his grip on the hospital's fate. But while EJ is scheming behind closed doors, Xander is pushing forward with heart. He's already begun talking with Alex Kyriakis, floating the idea that they, through Titan, should make a bid for the hospital. And there's good reason for the urgency, the lucrative Versavix research currently underway at Salem General. Whoever controls the hospital controls that research, and with it, a potential fortune and unparalleled influence over the town's medical future. Unfortunately for Xander, fate has thrown a cruel wrench into his plans. Just as the battle heats up, Sarah suffers an allergic reaction and ends up hospitalized herself. Suddenly, the very institution he wants to give her becomes the place where she's confined to a bed, and Xander finds himself torn between two duties, the businessman fighting for a dream and the husband caring for the love of his life. His attention shifts to Sarah, and understandably so. He's deeply worried for her, hovering by her side, ensuring she receives the best care possible. But while Xander's heart is with Sarah, EJ sees an opening, a moment of distraction he can exploit. While Xander is at Sarah's bedside, EJ is preparing to swoop in and make his move. He knows that the Versavix research is the crown jewel of the hospital's assets, and if he acts swiftly, he could beat Xander and Titan to the punch. With Kayla out of the picture for now, and Marlena's support still hanging in the balance, EJ is calculating every step to ensure the board of directors sees him as the savior, not the schemer. And that's where the real danger lies. While Xander acts out of love, EJ moves with ruthless precision. Xander once capitalized on the DiMera family's internal crisis to seize control of DiMera Enterprises, but now the tables may be turning. EJ sees a golden opportunity to strike while Xander's hands are tied with personal matters. For Sarah, the dream of leading the hospital may hang in the balance. Her vision for compassionate, patient-centered care could be swept away if EJ's power grab succeeds. And for Xander, who only ever wanted to honor his wife and empower her with something truly meaningful, this may be his toughest battle yet. One that tests not only his business skills but also his resolve and priorities. In the days to come, Salem General may witness more than just medical emergencies. Boardrooms will become battlefields. Hospital hallways will echo with whispers of deals and betrayals. And the future of healthcare in Salem could end up in the hands of a loving husband or a power-hungry mogul. As the dust settles, one thing is certain: this isn't just a business deal. It's a war of intentions, driven by love on one side and ambition on the other. And in Salem, nothing ever stays quiet for long. Next, in the most recent episode of Days of Our Lives, the emotional stakes soared as power struggles, personal regrets, and life-and-death medical crises all collided in a dramatic whirlwind that shook Salem to its core. Beneath the surface of the usual town gossip and hallway confrontations, the fate of Salem General Hospital is becoming the new frontline, and E.J. DiMera, for better or worse, is determined to make himself its savior. But as with everything in Salem, no intention is ever pure, and no plan goes unchallenged. E.J.'s voicemail and a surprise from the mailbox. The episode opened on a surprisingly tender note. A rarity for E.J., who is more often known for calculated schemes than heartfelt confessions. Alone and quietly solemn, E.J. picked up his phone and called his son Johnny, only to reach voicemail. He left a message filled with quiet longing and uncharacteristic vulnerability, telling Johnny that no matter what happens, he would always love him. It was the kind of moment that hinted at deeper regrets E.J. may not be ready to face aloud. Still holding on to that emotional thread, E.J. shifted back to his usual routine, rifling through the day's mail. His eyes paused when he spotted an envelope, its torn corner revealing the name DiMera in bold on the return address. For a moment, he wondered if Johnny had sent him something. But when he opened it, the reality was far less touching. It was a get-well-soon card from Stefan. Just then, Dr. Jeffrey Russell appeared at E.J.'s door, visibly irritated. Apparently, Kayla was refusing to release him from his hospital contract. But for E.J., this was no unexpected problem, it was a planned outcome. With his recent firing from DiMera Enterprises, his funds were no longer tied up in corporate takeovers. Instead, he was ready to redirect his wealth toward buying the hospital itself. In fact, everything was falling right into place, according to his plan. Dr. Russell, skeptical and annoyed, didn't take kindly to E.J.'s casual joke about pulling the trigger on a hospital purchase. He scoffed, warning that such an investment would drain E.J. dry. But E.J., confident as ever, waved him off. If the experimental drug they were developing worked, and was properly patented, the hospital would be swimming in revenue for decades. Russell was far from convinced, but E.J. had already made up his mind. Stephanie and Philip's fractured past elsewhere, a tense reunion unfolded between Stephanie and Philip. Their paths crossed unexpectedly, and the weight of old wounds resurfaced immediately. Stephanie didn't hold back, bitterly confronting Philip for everything he and his mother, Kate, had achieved at the expense of others. Was it all worth it? She asked, her voice sharp with disappointment. Philip tried to explain. He had hoped Beau's tragic death might put an end to all the family feuds. But it hadn't. The pain lingered. Stephanie unleashed her fury, yelling for several more minutes before Philip finally broke, offering a disgusted apology for everything. Stephanie wasn't moved by his remorse. She pressed further, asking why he hadn't simply gone the legal route if he wanted to make things right with his father. Philip confessed he wasn't trying to rob Xander of anything. He only wanted to redeem himself in Victor's eyes. He didn't regret his actions, per se, but he did regret hurting people in the process. That was enough for Stephanie to soften, slightly. She told him she was still angry, but maybe, someday, they could be friends again. Beau's condition and the sepsis drug race. The health crisis surrounding Beau continued to ripple through the community, casting a shadow over nearly every conversation. At Titan, Alex brought exciting news to Xander, a potentially game-changing drug developed by DiMera Pharmaceuticals. And not just any drug. This one was meant to treat sepsis, the very condition that now threatened Beau's life. But there was a catch. The DiMera version of the drug, while promising, was nowhere near as effective as the one being quietly developed at Salem General. Xander was energized. This could be Titan's big break, an opportunity to outmaneuver DiMera and position themselves as leaders in life-saving innovation. Alex, confident and loyal, promised Xander that he wouldn't regret giving him a second chance. Meanwhile, Belle confided in Elia about seeing Sean drinking at the bar. It weighed heavily on both of them. The idea that while their fathers were both fighting for their lives, they were unable to help each other. Sean, grieving and determined, vowed not to give up on Beau. No, he won't, he said solemnly. And neither will I. Kayla's risky gamble. Back at the hospital, Kayla was working tirelessly, poring over Beau's medical files sent by Hope, desperate to find a solution. Steve arrived to help, only to discover that Kayla was contemplating something drastic. Time was running out. If they were going to steal the experimental drug to save Beau's life, they needed to do it now. Kayla rationalized the theft, insisting that one dose would go unnoticed. The good doctor will just assume he misplaced it, she said. But Steve was worried. Dr. Russell was unpredictable, and he popped in and out of the lab at all hours. One wrong move could cost them everything. Just then, Sarah walked in unexpectedly. "Oh, sorry," she said upon seeing them. She had only stopped by to offer condolences about Bo. But her visit sparked another issue, the upcoming research conference in Chicago. Sarah suggested skipping it to save money for the hospital, hinting that she wanted to spend time with her family instead. Kayla, visibly overwhelmed, nodded in agreement. She even hinted at replacing Sarah temporarily, clearly scheming to send Dr. Russell in her place. The perfect setup or a perfect trap? Sarah soon left and Dr. Russell reappeared. Kayla pitched the Chicago conference to him, trying to make it sound like a prestigious opportunity. But Russell, ever the introvert, was unimpressed. "Doctors don't really like people," he muttered. Still, Kayla pushed. Everyone needed a weekend off, she argued. Before they could settle the matter, EJ entered the scene, limping in dramatically. Russell, with some hesitation, finally agreed to attend the conference, sensing something odd but too tired to argue. Once Russell was gone, EJ turned his full attention to Kayla. But he wasn't there to donate or to help with research or even to show support for Bo. No, he was there to make a declaration. He wanted to buy the hospital. Not out of generosity. Not out of goodwill. He wanted to be the hospital's savior, and he wasn't going to take no for an answer. What happens next? As Salem faces one of its most intense crossroads in years, the players are lining up. EJ is positioning himself as the grand benefactor, hiding sinister ambitions behind a smooth-talking facade. Kayla is risking her career and freedom for a chance to save Bo. Xander is banking on a breakthrough that could change everything. And Sarah, caught in the middle, may soon find herself the key to a hospital war she didn't ask for. Lines are being drawn and everyone must choose a side. But in Salem, loyalties shift like the wind and not even the best-laid plans go unchallenged. Will EJ seize the hospital and claim his throne? Or will Kayla and Xander's gamble pay off before it's too late? Stay tuned, the next chapter could change everything.